And yes, we are live on another Friday live. Sorry, just it's good to be here with you again on another Friday live. I'm just gonna go on as I start with week 5. We've been doing the living, living, living beyond rediscovery series in the past 4 weeks. So this is week 5. And for our week 5, we're looking at unapologetic womanhood. The day you stop shrinking, living without permission. I remember I gave a talk in Birmingham a couple of months ago, and my topic was the day I choose to stop shrinking. I'll never forget. And it was such a very, explosive moment for me. I just loved to talk about, the exact moments. Like it was, something just exploded in me. And, that's something I love to talk about. That's something that marks the beginning of my story. So thank you so much for joining me once again. Thank you. It's such an honor to be in your midst live and just having this opportunity to talk, to give us an inkling to what is possible in your own story also. So we're going to be talking about the unapologetic womanhood, as I've said. You know, this is the week 5 of the Living Beyond Rediscovery series, and over the past 4 weeks, we've talked about peeling back layers talked about peeling back layers. We've talked about how our body holds our stories, how guilt keeps us small, and the myth of too late, and the rhythms to restore us. So we've talked about those things, but it leads us to what I want to talk about today, to this moment when you stop needing permission to live as your whole self. So we're going to be looking at how you know you're going to stop needing permission. You know how sometimes you want to do something, but you're seeking validation from people. You want someone to mark it off or check off your list, or you just want someone to. I know that, yes, encouragement is important, but how do you even live beyond that? Trying to check with everyone, and everybody has an opinion. That's the beautiful thing about it. Everyone has an opinion. You want to start something, you want to go back to school, you want to do something, you want whatever it is that your heart is telling you to do. You go to the first person might tell you, are you sure? Because the person might be advising you from a place of her trauma or his trauma, and not from the place of, sense, or the place of wisdom. So you need to be able to understand when someone is advising you from a place of their own trauma. So I hear people say things like, that's why I'll never allow my child go to boarding house. For that's an example. That's an example. When you say, good afternoon, Bukola, thank you for joining me. When you say things like, I'll never allow my child to go to boarding house, what exactly is informing that decision? Is it a decision that, okay, I prayed about it, boarding house is not best for my child, or my child's demeanor, for instance, does not suit her or him being in boarding house, or that I'm just scared about the stories that I hear about boarding house? So what's the information? What informs that decision? A lot of times people advise you based on what they think, how they feel, and how they feel may not always be truth. How they reason about things may not always be truth. So living unapologetically, you've gone to 3 4 people. This friend says she doesn't think so, that friend thinks she thinks so, and then you get confused. So when you realize that, when I want you to come to a point that you realize that you really don't need permission to live your whole self. You don't need permission to take the decisions that you want to, to take the decisions that you want to take. Yes, people advise you based on their trauma or how they feel and think, and it's not always correct. Yes. Today, we're not just talking about confidence. We're talking about emotional intelligence, the act of leading yourself with calm power. An apologetic woman isn't loud or rebellious. She's not everywhere talking from when they say be authentic, being authentic doesn't also mean that, being loud. She's someone who is steady. She's someone who is grounded, and she's someone who is clear. She feels deeply, but she doesn't let her feelings drive her life. And that's where my major focus for today's conversation is. She doesn't let her feelings drive her life. She's not taking decisions about her next step from fear. Fear. In fact, fear is a very big driver of people's lives. A lot of times, people that they stay in a place that they can, they stay in a place that doesn't harness their, highest potential, but it feels safe. They stay in a job that, makes them feel like, okay, I'm earning this thing, or at least this is safe. But they know within them that they have a capacity to do more. But safety now becomes another feeling, another emotion that, okay, I just want to, it's better than nothing, or it's better than nothing. But really, 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 they have so much in them that they can do. But they would say, oh, it's better to be here, it's better to be in this bad situation than for me to take a chance. And that's a very dangerous place. So she's not the woman who allows fear to rule her life. Whatever emotion it is, it's not just fear. She's not she's not the woman to allow, trauma to rule her life. She's not the woman to allow, whatever it is, all various, sort of emotions, or even the need to please people, or even the need to be liked. She's not the woman who allows her to do that. She feels deeply but doesn't let her feelings drive her life. You know, there's a time in people's life where, emotions, it feels like emotions. I have also, been through it, sometimes in my life. You just feel like emotions is pulling you somewhere new. It's that feeling. It's that feeling. There's no groundedness in the feeling. It's just that I feel like I don't feel like. So you have a goal, for instance, I don't feel like pushing it. I don't, feelings are very bad masters, because you might not do things based on facts. You might be doing things based on how you feel at the time, which is very, very erroneous if a woman would step into an apologetic, womanhood. One harsh word, somebody just says something bad about you, or someone just, does something that you don't like, it ruins your day. You just shut down for the day, or you just shut out, people off your life just because I feel. So you can see how feelings can make you live less than you really, really are. Feelings can do that. So you're trying to get something done, you're trying to read, you're trying to grow, you're trying to do, but delay comes, and then you start to feel this thing is not working. Is it that it is not working, or it hasn't worked yet? What's the fact, beyond the feeling? So the delay comes. Somebody is wasting your time. You don't even know whether that person is stuck on, in traffic. You don't want to know. You're already getting agitated and annoyed. Okay, you're supposed to go out with the person to have maybe like a good time or something, but you're already annoyed. So the good time is not hard, because obviously, anger has arisen, frustration has come, disappointment. The unapologetic woman will not allow those feelings to lead. She would settle it there and then. She would sort out those feelings, because those feelings should not dictate how the direction of her life. Or is it disappointment? You're trying to get something, you're trying to build a business, for instance. Disappointment will come, definitely. Failure will come, but you allow the failure to make you forget the why that you started, and you crash again, and then you're saying you're not doing. There's nothing that you can build that would last, you can build on emotion. Anything you build with your emotion cannot last. Because tomorrow when they say emotional roller coaster, tomorrow you're on a high, next tomorrow you're on a low, tomorrow you're on a high, next tomorrow you're on a low. There's nothing that can be built. So who is an unapologetic woman? She doesn't just suppress. It's not about suppressing her emotions. It's about understanding them. Why am I feeling upset? Why do I not like to get the answer no? Why do I feel disappointed in this situation? She gets to the bottom of the reason for her feelings. She deals with it. She doesn't suppress them. She needs to, if she needs to talk about how she feels, she talks about how she feels. And that's the woman that's the woman who will step out living unapologetically. She has the power to pause, to breathe, and to respond from wisdom, not from reaction. She has the power to say, look, I will be visible and I will stop shrinking. She has the power to lead herself. So what does shrinking look like? I talked about she has power to lead herself, and she has the power to say no to shrinking. What does shrinking look like? Shrinking doesn't always look like silence. Sometimes it looks like overreaction. So somebody does something to you and then you overreact. It's not that you're not reacting. I don't know. You're not reacting from a place of, it's an ego thing. It's just something that's okay. if I don't react like this now, they will take me for granted. That's it. If I don't react like this, they will take me for granted. If I don't, shout, if I don't show myself, they will take me for granted. Are you really living in full, when you do that? Or have you shrunk? You've shrunk your life to, it's just that shrinking that tells you that you need to shout, you need to be heard, you need to, be loud, overreact. But is that really, 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 really you? Have you shrunk yourself to look like something that you wouldn't recognize? You're not happy to be even, are you happy to be friends with yourself? If they say, okay, this is you and this is, make this person your friend, are you happy to be a friend to you? Let's ask that question. Sometimes it looks like overreaction. It's emotional overextension that comes from trying to be understood, accepted, or validated. So you want to make your point known. You want people to validate you. You want to be understood, you want to be accepted. So in a group, you just want people to like you. So you start to overdo the overreaction. That I want to be accepted. Good afternoon, Esther, and thank you for joining us. I want to be accepted, I want to be known. So you overreact, and that also is a form of shrinking. So shrinking is not just, saying yes when your heart says no. You really want to say no to a request, but I want to be liked. So let me just say the yes. Shrinking is letting anger speak for you instead of truth. Okay, your friend was caught up in traffic and couldn't make it on time for you people's activity or whatever it is you guys set out to do. You tell yourself, I'm already upset. You've ruined my day. Why are you letting feelings ruin your day? Why are you letting emotions ruin your day? Talk to your friend about how you feel. You see, there was something I was reading just before this class, and I noticed that it's something I practice, right? So you're getting upset about something. Say, crack a joke. Don't take yourself too seriously like that, in that sense. Good afternoon, Brenda. Don't in that manner. See, somebody's upset, you're upset. Crack a joke, tell yourself, make a silly face, change the mood with just and a story. And then when you have calmed down, you can speak from, I hate waiting for people. You could have sent me a text, and she might even explain, I tried to send you a text, but there was no network on the way, and it ends it. But when you speak from anger, when you speak from anger, you speak from letting anger to overrule. You're supposed to have a good time. You're having a girls day out with your friends. Don't let somebody's definition of something they have done, don't let it define your day. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. Don't let another person, so the person might not even mean what you said. So find a way to infuse, especially when you're angry, find a way to infuse laughter, or not be so we they do here, just something that douses the emotions, because you don't deserve, because when you live constantly in an emotional roller coaster, it doesn't give you any benefits. It doesn't, you can't grow, you can't become that woman that you're saying that you want to be. Anyone who is led by emotions, unfortunately, cannot build anything sustainable. Oh, I don't feel. What's the fact? Oh, I'm not feeling this thing. I'm not feeling it. It's the sense of I am lost. It also gives you that sense of I'm lost. I don't know who I am. It's the feeling. It's not a fact, because you know who you are when you sit down to recount who you are. It's not a fact. The sense of even being feeling lost is actually not, is not really, really true. If I sit you down now and I tell you to tell me all your good sides, you know it. You know what you've achieved. You know what you've done. So what is the fact as opposed how you feel? It's so important. It's so important. There's nothing that can be built. You see, motivation, they say, is a scam. You just, it's discipline that you need, and discipline will act despite how you feel. So you're on a girl's date, you're on a girl's day out, you're hanging out with your girls, because sometimes you need this adult time, or you're out with the kids, and then they start to misbehave. It ruins everything for everyone, because you're upset about something. You can't be led by your emotion. Anybody who is going to live a life that is is sustainable, is worth it, cannot build by emotions. So emotions are good though. It's not like they are bad. I'm not saying that deny your emotions, but just saying they are messengers. So as I say, you bring those emotions as data. You tell yourself, ask yourself, what's this emotion telling me? Why do I feel angry when people are late? It may be, even you'll be surprised at the stories that will come up in your life that makes you even such an issue. You know why I'm saying this? Because somebody else, late coming is not really an issue. So you come late, person, oh, it's okay, I understand. But the reason is an issue for you, there's a story behind it. So instead of just taking that emotion, instead of taking that emotion and running with it and allowing it to be a master, take it as a messenger. Okay, I hate people coming late. Why do I hate people coming late? And you now remember how late coming was associated with a pain in your childhood or in your past. If you came late, if you came late, you were punished for it or something. It can be anything. So you're doing the connections, and the more you do the connections, the more understand your triggers, the more you understand your patterns, the more you understand why things trip you off, the better you are at being an emotional intelligent woman. So this unapologetic woman is such an emotional intelligent woman. It's a journey. We're not saying that we get there overnight. It's a journey. So you will stay inside this journey. You will fail sometimes, but failure is also not a fact. It's a messenger. It's not a fact. The fact that you failed at something doesn't mean that you're a failure. The fact that you feel that something means that you just need to adjust or learn how you. Some children crawl at 9 months. My children crawled at 16 months. Some children crawl at nearly 2 years. I knew somebody who didn't crawl, and they said, okay, when she turns to and she's not walking, I'm sorry, didn't walk. And when she turns to, she's not walking, then bring her into the hospital. As soon as she was turning to, she started walking. What am I trying to say? The fact that you have failed at something also doesn't mean that that's a fact. It just means that you need a longer time to learn than you earmarked. So you wanted to learn Pythagoras theorem, for instance, and then you thought that in one day you'd be able to grab the concepts, but you couldn't grab it in one day. That's not failure. It just means that it's a messenger. Okay, it means that I need to break this down. I need to understand how much time I need for it. I need to understand what it is. Or you even wrote a to-do list. Let's come back home. You wrote a to-do list. You couldn't do everything on your to-do list. It's a messenger. What is it teaching me? I haven't developed the capacity to do 17 things on my to-do list. Let me now, put 4 things that I can actually do, so that I don't feel like I'm overburdening my day. But when you now put 17 things, you only tick 3 things, you start to feel like you failed. It's not failure. It's a feeling. What is that? It's just the messenger that, okay, instead of putting your list and packing it and stacking it with this, with that, with this, so filling up your calendar and not meeting up with expectations. I don't need to fill up my calendar and not meet up with expectations. All I need to do is to put 3 things. And then when I develop the capacity, then I can put 5 things. When I develop more capacity, I can put 7 things. When I develop more capacity, then I can put 10 things. So these things are feelings, and feelings are not always true. Let's go on. What emotion tends to lead you the most? Is it fear? Is it guilt? Is it frustration? Or is it even the need to be seen? The need to be seen is actually something that one time in my life I actually struggled with, thinking that helping everybody in the neighborhood, doing everything for everybody, helping everybody, da 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 da. You just there's this sense of people need me, so I feel needed or I feel wanted. I didn't even think it was a thing until I started to, understand patterns, because I just thought, it was something I saw my mom do. She's very hospitable. She can, if you have a baby, she'll come and visit you. She's always, visiting, helping mother, CW. And I just thought it was, being part of, being hospitable. But what I noticed was when I'm now not needed, I feel smaller. I still which kind of feeling with this. Then I started to be very intentional about noticing why I need to be seen, why I need to be, why I need to be needed. That whole feeling of, everybody says, oh, she's reliable, she's strong, she's this, she's that. All these things, sometimes it's just because we need that feeling, that thing that we just want to be seen. It gives us a sense of we are useful, but your usefulness doesn't come from, just what you do. It comes from who you are, really, who you are, so fear makes you say yes to things you don't want. For example, guilt makes you to overcompensate for others. You don't want to have that sense of they won't like me, or that whole, okay, what am I even doing, what's my contribution to humanity self, at least let me just. So you overcompensate, you overgive, you overstretch. Frustration makes you reactive instead of reflective. So, and then after all these things, you now feel frustrated because obviously people cannot recompense, cannot pay you back the way you have done. You say, after all I have done, you start to feel betrayed, you start to feel small, you start to feel used. That's another word I know that is very common amongst us women. You start to feel, after everything I've done, they can't even, do this, that for me, and then it makes you reactive instead of reflective. Or your need to be seen makes you perform. Like I just, give an example. Your need to be seen makes you perform. So you're constantly in everything, just you're performing instead of being present. You can't master what you won't name. So you will need to know what it is, that you have, where it is that you have, where it is that the feelings, you need to first of all understand the feelings that are ruling your life. Also, you need to name those things that have actually been in the forefront of your journey, from before now. Have you not taken steps just because of fear? Have you not taken steps just because of guilt? Have you felt guilty for, wanting more, for doing more? Have you felt frustrated just because you have done so much and people are not reciprocating the way you have been doing? These are questions you need to ask yourself. So it's not for judgment. Like I always say in my lives, it's not for judgment. Everything you name, everything you understand about yourself is for is for you to make a change. See, if anything you don't understand, anything you're not aware of, you can't change it. So I always tell my story. And when I said I went to Birmingham to tell my story, I told my story and I said, I was a people pleaser. I had to name it. It wasn't pleasant. You think it's nice to be called a people pleaser, but I'm the one telling my story now. And the beautiful thing about it, when you take that story and you tell your story yourself, it loses the power over you. The power of telling your story is very deep. I would say it again, the power of telling your own story. If not, people would tell the story that they think is appropriate for you. Don't let people curate your own story for you. Yesterday, I went to my children's school and we're talking about, they said it's Black History Month. So they said, come and talk about your favorite, it could be literature, history, or music. So I chose literature because I'm in love with, or I was in love. Well, I'm in love with Chinua Achebe. I love the way he writes. I love his character. I love everything I've read about him. And I had my best friend then in secondary school was his great grandniece. So I went to his village, secondary school. Then I went to his village. I used to be very flimsy with, I know Chinua Achebe's family, but that's by the way. So yesterday, we're talking about Chinua Achebe, and he said something in a quote that I told children. I said, until the lion learns how to tell his own story, his story will be written by the hunter. So when you don't tell your own story, when you don't understand your own patterns, when you don't understand your own triggers, someone else will tell that story for you. They will just say, oh no, she's always very moody. But is that really so? If you don't understand your own story, she's too quiet. And they start to, create stories that become labels for you. It's a dangerous, tell your own story. It may be shameful, but it is liberating. It is liberating. The reason why when you give your life to Christ in the Christendom, they tell you to come out and say your own testimony is because that testimony, as you're saying it, you're liberating yourself from the shackles of whatever it is that you wear. So write your story, tell your story. The women in my becoming class, their first assignment was write your own story. Don't let someone else write the story for you. Don't let someone else define your own story. And the fact that you're writing your own story doesn't mean that there's any villain or victim in the story. The story is what it is, the story, to make you see how you can change it. If you don't know where you're coming from, how do you change where you're going to? So, you know, name it. Yes, Debbie was a people pleaser, and that's okay. I am no longer a people pleaser. I have the power to say no, and I also have the power to receive no. Receiving no was also a problem for me, but learning how to say no and receive no is also very, very liberating. So our second part before we start to round off is the anatomy of an unapologetic woman. Let's just define what it means to live without permission. An apologetic woman isn't unfeeling. So it's not like I said kill your feelings. I'm not saying kill your feelings. Remember what we said, your feelings are just messengers. They tell stories of why you feel that way. An apologetic woman isn't unfeeling. She's emotionally fluent. She can translate what she feels into language, timing, and wisdom. Remember what I said about the book I was reading just before? Your feeling upset is bubbling up inside of you, and then you crack a joke. Timing. You know why you cracked that joke? An emotional intelligent person knows how to douse her feelings with that joke. It's not like, there's I have a particular person who says, Debbie, you're always playing. I say, it's not as if I'm always playing. But the honest truth is that if I don't crack jokes too much, not too much, but you know what I mean? Like, I will be too serious, and I will take everything too serious. And then I will just be moody by everything that is being done. Am I failing in certain things? Am I growing in certain things? But why am I not going to find a way to make life more bearable? Why am I carrying it on my head? So even I'm like, okay, Debbie, calm down, calm down. And with those in little things that are infused in our stories, she's like, oh, there's no dull moments with it. I said, well, the honest truth is that life is too short. We can't be carrying these emotions on our head as if, that's the end of the world. They're messengers. So she this is what she looks like. Self-leadership. She pauses before responding. She asks herself, is this reaction aligned with who I'm becoming? You say you want to become, you're designing a future that speaks louder than words. You're designing a future that when you walk into a place, your calmness speaks for you. When you react, ask yourself a question. This woman that I said I'm becoming, am I aligning with her? So one question I asked in my reflection journal at the end of the day: how I live today, does it align to the woman that I want to be? When I yelled at my kids, when I was not connected to my kids, am I aligning to the woman? So there's a blueprint for the woman I want to be, but there's a life that she has to live today to become that woman. When I do the things that I do, when I don't pause, when I react, when I overreact, am I in alignment with who I'm becoming? When you're asking yourself reflective questions, you will start to question the behaviors that do not align with woman that you have said you want to be. Clarity. She knows the difference between her emotions and her identity. Your emotions are not your identity. Your emotions are not your identity. There's a difference between I feel angry and I am an angry person. I feel angry is what this thing that is happening now is making me feel angry. And it's not that it is you making me feel angry. I just feel angry. And you see, like I said the other time when I talked about, tracing it. When you trace it, that thing that's making you feel angry is not making the next person feel angry. There's a story behind why the things make you feel angry. If you know the stories behind all your triggers, you are more likely to be liberated and live, unapologetically than be tied by it. So you're not an angry person, you're not a moody person. You feel moody when you are ignored by your spouse. You feel depressed when you are, when certain things happen. But are you that person? That's an apologetic woman. She knows how to clarify a situation making her angry and her being an angry person. It's two different things. The boundaries. She doesn't apologize for what she needs to stay well. She doesn't apologize for using her time well. She doesn't apologize for not picking your calls just because at the point when you were calling her, she needed to rest or she needed to be present, fully present with her children. She doesn't apologize. This, we pick up the phone and we're saying, oh, I'm sorry. I don't have to be at your beck and call. I have small kids. My focus right now is that when they're back from school, I want except, yes, yesterday night, I took permission from the kids and I said to them, I'm trying to organize a conference for blah, 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 blah. And I need to answer some messages. I'm taking permission from them because they are remembering you with the phone in your hand. And then after a while, the messages were, were relentless. They kept coming, they kept coming, they kept coming. And I said, you know what? Chloe, go and put my phone in jail. I woke up to so many messages, but it's fine. There was no emergency. Nobody died. And even if anybody died, as I could try to say, I cannot raise the dead. So what's the point? My point is, she doesn't need to apologize for what she needs to stay well. She doesn't need to apologize for the time she has to rest. She doesn't need to apologize for the space that she needs. She doesn't need to apologize for the silence that she needs. The things that are her safety tools. She doesn't need to apologize for it. She's not being selfish, and she knows she's not being selfish. Empathy with edges. She can feel for others without losing herself in the chaos. Sometimes you're on the phone, there's commotion. There's commotion. Cannot raise it there, Abby. There's commotion in the house, especially in your family home. There's commotion. Everybody's doing kitty kitty kata kata. People are now on voice call for 4 hours, 5 hours. Mommy, are you still on the phone? Mommy, you're saying that, oh, mommy, my parents, need help. These are that. There's commotion. You just stay on the phone. You and your siblings. People are trying to, there's chaos. People are trying to sort chaos out, but you don't know how to set a boundary. Okay, this thing, what's the solution? Everybody write your own points, but let's end this meeting. Endless meetings with chaos. Endless meeting with chaos. Somebody who has something has happened somewhere, is only your number that they know, because they know that you have 7 hours to give them for that chaotic situation. But when you are an apologetic woman, you know how to set boundaries. Okay, this family problem, I'm not gonna even solve it. Some of these family problems even started before you were born. So it's not by them coming to tell you that they can solve it. Please, how do I solve this? I need to get off the phone. I need to go and attend to my kids. She knows how to empathize. I empathize with you people. Oh, hey, yeah, sorry, oh my show, sorry, oh. But I still need to go and live my life. I need to go and finish my book. I need to go and do this. I need to go and do that. An emotionally intelligent woman is not controlled by storm. She becomes the calm. And that's the goal. Remember when we talked about nervous system reset? Once your nervous system is poisoned, nothing can grow. When you're constantly living in a place of hypervigilance, surveillance, you can't grow anything. It's not possible. You can't create from a place of chaos. It doesn't work that way. So you need that calmness to make sound decisions concerning your growth, your life. You need calmness. You need to understand what can work for you and what cannot work for you. We talked about to-do list. It's a very big thing. I had a friend who told me once that she had 73 things on her to-do list for a day. And I was like, damn, Boruba, how do you have 73 things? I can't deal. The chaos is too much. Even me, that sometimes I have only, let me see how many is mine. I didn't number it, but I have only like 8. I'm like, Debbie, are you sure you can even finish it? I say, if you give yourself 4/7, you have tried. I have my non-negotiables, obviously, that I have to do every day. But there are certain things I'm telling myself, you know what? Instead of feeling like a failure, why don't you spread out what you can do in a number of days? You want to finish a book, you tell yourself you want to finish it in 2 hours. Are you capable? Have you built the capacity to finish it in 2 hours, so that you don't start feeling like a failure? Because it's just feeling like a failure that then makes you to repeat the cycle of saying, it doesn't work, I cannot do it. It makes you overwhelmed because you have yes, I use the Hausa word. It makes you overwhelmed. It makes you so overwhelmed that you are like, I can't walk this walk. I can't do this thing. I can't. Understand what you can do in a day. That's an emotional intelligent woman. Okay, I have 10 things to do this week. Spread it out. The more you grow, the more you will add more onto your plate. But you're overfilling your plate because you want to feel like a superhero. My darling, it doesn't work that way. You will get overwhelmed and then you will crash. An emotionally intelligent woman is not controlled by storms. She becomes the calm. And until you remain calm and you can do your things in calm, you won't produce much. You can't be reading a book and you're saying, I'm reading, I need to finish this book, I need to finish this book. Oh, no, 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 that's not how to grow. You grow by layer, pattern by pattern, step by step, process by process. As you learn to finish things, you will build muscle. It's just like saying you want to go to the gym and get 4 packs. 6 packs immediately. It doesn't work. Sometimes you even have to spend 4 years before you get it, because the layer of fat that the packs have to go through to get to the muscle might even take 4 years. So you do weight loss program, for instance, for one month, and you say it's not working, then you go back again, you crash. That's not calm. That's storm. What you want to become is not a 4-year program. It's a lifelong program, because I tell you the truth, the day you drop out of your gym class, it will not happen immediately, but the day you drop out of your gym class or whatever, your growth class or whatever it is, you will start to lose the muscles that you have built. Right. Let's just have some reflection questions. Right about think about your life and say, describe that woman that you're becoming. How does she handle pressure? How does she make decisions? Does she make decisions from calm? Does she make decisions from fear? Or does she make decisions, from faith? What does she no longer apologize for? She's not apologizing for the use of her time. She's not apologizing for taking up space. She's not even apologizing for being, some of us can be so silent in our homes because obviously, it feels like, let's not talk, let's not talk to maintain peace. That let's not talk to maintain peace. That one is topic for another day. Let's leave it. What does she no longer chase? The woman that you are becoming is grounded. She's aware and she's unshaken. You see, if you study people who are very successful, they don't carry their shame around. They talk about themselves unapologetically. They don't carry an air of, I feel like I'm disturbing you. They know that they are valued, so they know they can't disturb you. So that's the thing. The reason that you are afraid to step out into and do something, the reason you're afraid to step out and do something, because you don't actually feel like, what can I give that people have not given? And it's a very dangerous place to be in. What can I do that people have not done? What can I? Let me just keep following. Let me just. It's okay. People are already doing. This cake business that I wanted to start. It's not everybody that is making cake. It's not true. It's not everybody that's making cake. You can be a cake maker with a difference. But let's go on. She's a grounded, aware, and unshaken woman. When you stop shrinking, you start stewarding your power. You stop being reactive and start being responsive. You stop being driven by emotion and start being guided by wisdom. That is what mature freedom feels like. Not fire everywhere, but peace that knows its strength. You know the strengths that you have, you know your weaknesses, you know your opportunities, you know your strengths, you're just done a swap, test now. So you know your strengths. Where can I thrive? What do I need to, what can I do with least effort? So you start to give in your energy to the things that are your natural strength. You're not trying to be like anyone else, but this is your strength. And then you say to yourself, what are my weaknesses? How can I help myself? Okay, I don't know this, I don't know that, I want to be able to journal more, I want to be able to do this, I want to blah 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 blah. How can I grow myself? You see, you're not feeling you see that feeling of feeling like I failed. It's a very rampant feeling, and it's a feeling that says that I will not do more because after all, I am not more. It's a very, very rampant feeling. I know what I'm saying. But when you realize, okay, this is a weakness, and if it's a weakness, then we said it's a messenger, send that messenger on an errand. Tell that messenger, oh yeah, okay, since it's a weakness, how do I improve it? That's all you need to do. So you start to build structures to improve the weakness. You don't sit down there and say, it's a weakness, I'm doing about it. It's okay, that's how I was born, that's how I am. All those things will just keep you stuck. That emotional, intelligent woman, that unapologetic woman knows her strength. She knows her weakness. She knows what to do to help her turn that weakness even into strength, because even in weakness, there's still strength. So she knows her boundaries, she knows what she can handle, and then she actually has a strategy to help her handle more and more and more. She's growing. She's not her becoming is not a deadline, because as far as you're alive, as I always say, you still have more to give your world. You still have more to grow in your world. You still have more potential that is inside of you. Thank you, lovers. Good afternoon. You still have more. The world tells women to own their voice, but the thing is, own your emotional state. I have a book that I'm reading. I've read that book 2 times now, and I was reading it for the third time today. It's called Designing Your Mind. A couple of things in it that I might not agree with, but when I read the book, I was like, you can't be anything in life if you don't design your mind. You tell your mind what to think. You tell your mind, you're designing your mind. You curate your environment. You create your list. Good afternoon. You create your environment. You create what you listen to. You create who you curate who you listen to. You will not hang around anyhow. You would master your emotions, and I think that's the chapter that really got me in designing your mind. You will master your emotions. Emotions are very, very bad masters. They are very bad masters. You can't thrive. You can't build. You can't build when you are just an emotionally led being. And it's a woman thing. I'm sorry. You can't build. You will own your emotional state. You don't feel like showing up, you will show up. You don't feel like going out, you will go out. You don't feel like starting a business because you don't feel that you're worthy, you will start that business because because you would not listen. You see that emotion that is telling you that who are you to think that people would listen to you is the emotion that has given you a story from your childhood when they shut you down, when they said shut up, when they said cha, when they said don't do this, when they said don't do that. That is what is ruling your life. So you will tap that emotion. Thank you for giving me the message, but I changed that story. That's what you need. You can change your story. Look at me. You can change your story. You can change that story. So you will own your emotional state. There is nobody who does anything on whimsical thinking. I just wish, I just feel like. Feeling like is a myth. And you see that waiting for perfect conditions before you step out, it's a myth. There's nothing like a perfect condition. In fact, if there's a perfect condition, then what are we doing here on earth? There's nothing like a perfect condition. The reason people are still creating products, reason people are still meeting needs is because perfect condition does not exist. There's something that you need out there that somebody else is creating that you're buying. Why can't it be you? If you get my point, own your emotional state. Don't allow external factors dictate how your day runs. So I woke up this morning and he didn't greet me. Okay, thanks. Move on. So I wouldn't talk to him. So I wouldn't build my marriage. Move on. It doesn't. Your voice will find its natural authority once you can master your emotional state. Emotional stability is the loudest form of confidence. You see, if you know some women, right? Some people, you've seen them, maybe one or two or three or four. There's always this peace around them. You can't rattle them, so they become very. Let's be careful around them. When you're around them, you yourself, you adjust yourself, you adjust your clothes, you adjust, you adjust your composure. Emotional stability is your loudest form of confidence, that you can stand and you can talk to anyone. It comes from an emotional it's in a stable emotional state. In closing, and that's what we do, at your Discovery Coach. We teach women to help to, design. We teach that's the heart of everything we do. Sorry, at your Discovery Coach, to help you become a woman who leads with her life with calm and with power. There's nothing like, being calm. There's nothing like doing things because you've built a structure, because you've built, because you build a structure, because you built a process, and then you are calm. So even when you don't know, okay, so I'm learning a new topic, right? And then I don't know the topic. But am I going to panic because I don't know the topic, or do I build a structure to know the topic? You tell yourself, okay, I don't know it yet. Let's give it another 3 years. Let's give it another 2 years, and let's see. It's not a destination. It's not like you are trying to become something and then it ends. Every day is self-improvement course for you. It is. There's no end to it as far as you are alive. If you want to be an effective grandmother, if you want to be an effective whatever, an effective mother, anything you want to be, there's continuous improvement. So you're not saying there's a deadline. You see, it's when you give yourself deadlines that you start to feel agitated that after all, this year I said I was going to lose 10 kg and I haven't lost 10 kg. Instead of trying to lose 10 kg, build structures and systems, build a lifestyle that supports living healthy, and forget about the 10 kg in 1 year. You will get frustrated and then you will come back to ground zero. It doesn't bring calm to you. It doesn't bring any calm to you. It doesn't bring any support to you. But when you think about your life, like you're not living your life as a race, it's a long haul. This is a race that just ends in 100 meters. You're thinking about it on the long haul. You start to define who you are. You live from identity, not by just things that you do. You live by identity, not deadlines, not goals. It becomes your identity. So today I want us to, honor your emotions, but tell yourself that you are going to be led by wisdom. I no longer shrink to fit, as another thing you need to tell yourself. And I move through life steady, grounded, and free. I want us to also, just to summarize the 5 core truths that I've said today. Unapologetic womanhood is not rebellion, it's regulation. Strength is not reacting fast, it's responding from awareness. When you pause and you tell yourself, okay, I can see that ugly head, rising again because someone came late, then I'm upset. Okay, where I calm down. We don't need to act like that here. You can talk to yourself. We don't do that here. Emotions are valid, but not always instructions. They don't give you good instructions. Peace and power can coexist, and your calm is your crown. So thank you so much. Thank you for another wonderful Friday Live. Let me end by playing you our intro video. And thank you so much. Give me a minute. Sorry. Just disappeared when I need it. See how technology sometimes can fail us.
Mama, you're more than enough. Hey, mama, stand tall. You've given so much. You gave your all, now it's time to shine. You've been in the shadows, now step in the light. Rediscover your voice, take back your name. You're not just a mom, your power, your flame. From tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC you belong. Let's start living, rise again. You are more than just a pain. Confident, bold, unashamed. Your discovery coach, remember the name. You're strong, you're seen, you're free to dream. YDC, remember the name. Hey mama, you're more than enough. Hey mama, stand tall, you've given so much. You gave your all, now it's time to shine. You've been in the shadows, now step in the light. Rediscover your voice, take back your name. You're not just a mom, your power, your flame. From tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC you belong. Let's start living.
So you're not just a mom, your power and your flame. Hey mamas, let's start living. Thank you for joining us, and see you next week on Friday.